What's up, y'all? It's your boy Lil Al, your new baseball analyst for Swac'N the Fool podcast. You know, I'm thugging in and loving and doing what I do, and don't nobody do it better. You already know how I do it. And look, we got a special interview for y'all today. We got my boy James Cooper, aka Coop, former Grambling State head baseball coach, and current New York Yankees base running and outfield coach. Coop, what's happening with you?
Man, how's it going, man? Glad you reached out to me, and I'm glad to be here. And hopefully, something I say can educate these people in our game and our sport that we love in baseball, and then also something that they can use in life.
Oh yeah, for sure. So look, just get a people like a bio, where you from, what kind of background you came from, and you know, start from there.
Gotcha, gotcha, man. Born and raised in Cullen, Louisiana. Small town, but we believe we produce some really good athletes. Same hometown as Kendrick West, who was a running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, and
Mm-hmm.
then also Devin White, who's a linebacker for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it's kind of fitting that I'm here in Tampa, where the Yankees are based at, which is also the place where Devin plays at with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the town I grew up in. All three of us actually attended the same church, First Baptist Church in Cullen, Louisiana. All of our families did a lot of work at the church there together. Um, I went to Spring Hill High School, 3A high school, same district with Evangel. I think that's one of the prominent names that a lot of people would know as far as football goes. We were really good in baseball and football. We're just solid in basketball, but we were primarily a baseball and football school. I graduated from Spring Hill in 2000. I attended Grambling State University from 2000 to 04. I got my undergrad in marketing, got my master's in sports administration, and I was drafted by the Houston Astros in 2004. Had a chance to play 3 years in that system. After I got released by the Astros, I got picked up by an independent league team in the Can-Am League up in Sussex, New Jersey. Had a chance to play there, and then from there, man, I decided to get in grad school, and a Southern alum was the head baseball coach at Grambling State by the name of Barrett Ray. And he reached out to me when he heard that I was in grad school, and he was like, "Man, would you be interested in, being a GA?" And at that time, man, I was just removed from playing professional baseball. I didn't even know what a GA was, and I said, "Man, I'll think about it," and didn't even know that it meant graduate assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Never called him back after that. Like, maybe 2 or 3 weeks might have went by, and he got somebody else to reach out to me again, man. Hey, man, B Ray wants you to come by the office and talk to him. I'm like, all right, cool. And so I went by there and talked to him, and he was like, cool, man, I want you to be my GA. I said, man, you asked me that a couple of weeks ago, but I don't even know what a GA is. What's a GA? He's like, man, a graduate assistant. And I'm like, okay, explain it to me. He said, man, you'll basically be a coach. He was like, man, you played at Grambling, you graduated. He said, man, I coached against you. I know what type of player you are. You play professional. Like, this is your alumni. This is where you played at. You just finished playing professional baseball, man. I know these kids will probably look up to you. They'll probably learn a lot from you. You can help the players out. He said, man, you can help me out, whether it be on campus or also on the field. And he said, man, I think you'll be good if you get into coaching. It's like, all right, cool, man. Like, what's the pay? How much they paying? He said, man, I can't pay you nothing. And I thought about it, man. I said, all right, man, I'll do it. It was a chance for me to give back to my alma mater, and that's how I got into coaching, man. And if it weren't for Barrett Ray, it wouldn't have been as easy for me to get in, because now I done been a head coach. I done been on the other side. I see how hard it is to get in, man. And like, the stars lined up for me to have somebody as successful as Barrett Ray was at Southern,
Mm-hmm.
to get the job at Grambling. Um, and he sought me out and brought me on, and I really just kind of blowed him off. Well, not really blew him off. I just didn't know what
You know what
GA
it was?
stood for. I
Yeah.
didn't. And so and we talk about that from time to time, man, because that's just a little funny little story that we got. And where would I be had he not reached out to me? I
That's
might,
right.
it's crazy. It's crazy. And I got a bunch of other stories like that, man. With Coach Ellis, who gave me the opportunity to play at Grambling, and
Mm-hmm.
I almost went to Southern, and if I had went to Southern, how does my head coaching career begin? Because Kadar coached against me as a player, and he coached against me as a coach. So, you know, do I even get a chance to coach those years as at my
Right.
alma mater if I go to Southern? Because, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Kadar stayed in the game a whole lot longer than Coach Ellis. So, man, you know, life has a funny way of working its way out, man. And,
It is.
you know, with all that being said, man, going to Grambling is one of the best decisions I ever made in my life.
Yeah. So with you playing in high school and college and eventually the pros, when did you realize you were gonna be good in baseball, or you were just exceptional and just above everybody else?
Um, maybe my senior year of high school, like that summer. That summer, I played travel baseball, and it wasn't as big as travel baseball is today. You know,
Right.
back in summer of 2000. But man, it was like every tournament that we were in, from Pensacola to Memphis to Little Rock, Arkansas, Dallas, Texas, Steamboat Springs, Colorado, Phoenix, Arizona, Houston. I just had like a phenomenal weekend. It was like just something crazy, man, as far as the stealing the bases goes, just stretching uh, singles into doubles, stretching doubles
Mm-hmm.
into triples, and hitting a couple of home runs here and there, and then just really saying like, hey, man, I really could play at probably any school
With
that
the
I want to
best
go
of the
to.
best. Yeah.
Right, because I'm playing against all these people from all across the country, from all across the world, because it was some international teams there as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to hold my own, man. And I still didn't have like a bunch of huge scholarship offers, coming out of high school. I really think I was a late bloomer, man. I think like that summer really propelled me to, get a chance to. I could have went to Jackson State. I could have went to SAU, which was a really good Division II school, and played football and baseball there. But man, my Sunday school teacher was Wilbur Flanagan. Wilbur Flanagan was a Grambling State alumni. He played football for Eddie Robinson, man. And this is a fascinating story about Wilbur Flanagan. He was the first guy to play both ways for Eddie Robinson. Now, when he was in school, the schools were segregated, so it was
Yep.
all blacks. So if you was a Reggie Bush, you couldn't go to USC when he came out. If you was Vince Young, you couldn't go to Texas. If you was Tyrann Mathieu or Leonard Fournette, you couldn't go to LSU. So
Mm-hmm.
the best of the best, as far as black goes, were at the HBCUs back then. And when you think about all the Hall of Famers that Coach Eddie Robinson coached, you think about all of the SWAC legends and the NFL draft picks. My Sunday school teacher was the first guy to play both ways for him. And it just goes to show you how good he was. And he was drafted by the Cleveland Browns. And the reason you don't know his name, because when he got to Cleveland, there was a guy playing running back by the name of Jim Brown.
Hmm.
So we know how that ended for him.
Yep.
But he had a chance to tell me just some big time Grambling stories, man. And I think that just put a positive stain on my brain as a kid, that man, I could go to Grambling and be anything and go anywhere. That's what Grambling meant to him. And I think I'm a testimony of that's what it means to me also.
Okay. And I guess that played a big influence of you choosing
Hmm.
Grambling over all these other schools. You said Jackson State,
Hmm.
Southern. You had any interest from any other schools?
No, man. Those are my four schools: Grambling, Southern, Jackson, and Southern Arkansas.
You have any scouts coming out of high school?
Yeah, I did, man. Actually, a scout that scouted me, um, he actually looked at a kid locally and told the kid about it. And that kid and his mom texted me a couple of weeks ago. And he was with the Marlins, but he's with the Rockies now.
Mm-hmm.
But he was with the Marlins when I was coming out of high school. But man, it's just funny how the scouting thing works, man. And just a couple of days ago, I need to send you a picture. So a New York Yankee scout was at Grambling this past weekend watching Grambling and Southern play, and they honored me on Saturday, and he was like, "Dang, man, they honoring James Cooper." He ended up sending to my boss a picture of them honoring my name during the game. He sent
Yeah.
that picture to my boss now, and they forwarded it to me a couple of days ago, man. And but he was with the Dodgers back when I was in school, man, and he kind of remember what I was as a player. And it's funny now because we now work for the same organization.
Okay. This was on Saturday, right?
Yeah, this was on Saturday. Yep.
Yeah, you must have been there in spirit then.
That's why we won on Saturday. That's why we
Yeah.
won on Saturday.
Oh man. So
Yeah.
yeah, so playing in the SWAC, can you just tell us, what sticks out about SWAC baseball and what's so good about the pageantry and within the conference, not just at Grambling, but as the
Hmm.
Southwestern Athletic Conference as a whole?
Man, I think I developed a bulletproof mentality by playing in the SWAC. I think it made me, I don't know, tough as iron or tough as nails, any of those analogies or slogans that you would like to use, man. I really believe that it put something inside of me, man, to, make me unflappable. And I think that's going to pay dividends in everything that I do, moving forward.
Okay.
There's a sense of uh, toughness that you have to have in order to be successful in the SWAC, man. Like when you go on the road and you play at some of these places, man, you have what they call hecklers, and they got some really creative hecklers. They got some really aggressive hecklers. They got some people that can get you out of your game. They got some people that can get the coach out of their game. I've seen coaches not stay focused because of how good somebody was talking trash from the stands, man. And I think that it puts blinders on you and gets you to focus on, the task at hand. And, I think I had some good players that I looked up to when I played at Grambling, who kind of got me ready for that during fall ball, during our fall camps, and also during our spring training. I think the SWAC really made me a man. It put me in a position uh, to understand that, look, I need to control what I can't control. Things I can't control, I don't worry about them. Like, I can't
Right.
control what that fans say from the stands, but I can control how I run the bases, how I hit the ball, how I throw the ball, how I catch the ball, how I think, two or three pitches ahead, or things of that nature. And I think they kind of helped gave me a even keel to, tackle everything that I put in front of me.
Okay. And all those are very important things. I think that
Hmm.
guys need to have once they get to the professional level, and even going to the college level.
Man,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely, man. When you think about it, man, because when you're in the SWAC, man, sometimes you have to make do with less. And, I truly believe, man, that, through my 12 years of coaching there, it was some things that I had to figure out because it wasn't no help on the way to save me, and
Right.
I told, some former coaches that I had when they was on my staff, man, like, man, them guys at LSU can't come to Grambling and do my job, because they're used to having, all the bells and whistles. But I know for a fact that I can go there and do their job because they got everything that that I didn't have, and I was still able to be competitive with them. I was still able to beat some of those teams and,
Right.
push some of those teams to the wire, man. So, when you look at an even playing field, man, as far as facilities, as far as equipment, as far as personnel, as far as grounds crew, when you start to level the playing field and players don't have to do some of the things that I just mentioned, and they just focus on the game. That's not the case at some of these SWAC schools. At some of these SWAC
So,
schools, these kids have to rake the dirt, paint the field,
with the
prep the
basics.
mound, put the bases down, get the cage out, get the screen on, get the screen off, and they still have to go out there and play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's challenging at times, man. But I think that it paved it put a, how can I say it? It put me in a place to
Be
make
appreciated.
lemonade. Oh, definitely, man. But if you give me lemons, I'm gonna make lemonade. So if you give me some
Facts.
sour, I'm gonna give you some sweet back.
Facts. Facts. So we talked about the draft earlier. Can you tell
Hmm.
us about your draft process? How that went, maybe your last year. Any ups and
Hmm.
downs? Were you thinking about it during the season? And
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
did that turn out for you?
Man, my junior year in 2003. That was me and Ricky Weeks were the same class, man. He was by far the best player in our conference, and probably the best player in the nation back in 2003. Well, he was the best player in the nation. He won the damn trophy, the Dick Howser Award. Go
Yep.
to Spikes. But like there was something inside of me that said, man, every time we play Southern, like there's gonna be a boatload of scouts to come watch Ricky play. When they come watch Ricky play, make sure they write your name down because you do something special when they come
Right.
out there to the game. That was my mindset, man.
Right.
And that was a lot of categories where Ricky was first, I was second. Ricky was first, I was second. And man, like, and I didn't get drafted my junior year, man. Like that disappointed me, man. I talked to so many scouts, man. I filled out, so many player profile cards, man. We just didn't have a really good team, man. I was like by far, like the best player on the team, my junior year and of course my senior year. But things just didn't work out for me that year, man. And I went back to Grambling, and God has a weird way of, you know, uh, putting something in front of you and taking something away from you. And I think that put me in a place where I needed to go back to school. And I was on pace to graduate, make
Mhm.
sure I graduate. I graduated that May of '04, and then boom, I got drafted in June of '04, man. So I think that helped me as a coach too, because now I could really speak to all of my recruits and their parents about being a student athlete and doing things the right way. Of course, you want to play at the next level, man, but can you graduate first? Okay,
Right.
boom, I did that. Can you get drafted next? Boom, I did that. I was able to, man, 2004 was a great year for me, man, to, get my undergrad degree that May and then get drafted that June was pretty huge.
That's what's up. And yeah, we know education very important
Hmm.
nowadays. 'Cause it don't work out for everybody. I'm not
It
sure the
doesn't.
exact number of how many people get drafted per year, but everybody not blessed, like that.
No, they're not, man. And then when you talk about how over the years they've reduced the number of draft picks, and then just
Oh yeah.
and then now they're trying to slowly increase it back up, and then they dropped it again because they got rid of a lot of minor league teams. So
Mhm.
it's tough, man. Like you really have to be a special student athlete in order to get drafted and also to be a big leaguer.
Yeah, and I guess that goes into Kerrick Jackson, former Southern University head coach, being over the Major League Baseball draft league. So
Hmm.
that possibly could help a lot of guys that are at HBCUs right now. Um,
It
they
definitely will, man. When they get a chance to go play in that league, they get a chance to get evaluated and scouted, extra few times over and over again, and hopefully the scouts see something in those kids and they get a chance to, get their name called where they get drafted.
yeah. Any people in particular in the SWAC you think we might see in the future that might maybe get drafted or
Mm-hmm. Man, between we just had the addition of adding Bethune Cookman and FAMU to our conference.
yep.
So they decided to make the change over to one of the best conferences in the world,
Right.
Southwestern Athletic Conference, and we welcome them in with open arms. And but I think Bethune Cookman and FAMU have some pitchers. I don't know their names off the top of my head, but I have seen their names on some tops on some draft board watch lists. Um, when you look at what we have at Grambling, Shamar Page, of course, the kid that threw the perfect game a couple weeks ago. Cameron Buford, shortstop third baseman from Grambling, had a chance to play in the Cape Cod League, which is one of the premier leagues in collegiate baseball.
Yep. I think
Uh,
Canada probably lead the SWAC in home runs right now, if I'm
yeah, he,
mistaken.
he does. He does. John Garcia, who's also who played in the Cape Cod last year as well, who's
Yep.
the catcher at Grambling. Those are probably the three big names at Grambling. At Southern, you have Tremaine Spears, who played in the draft league uh, just this past summer, and of course he was a transfer from ULL,
Yep.
so he comes from really good stock. I think he's gonna have a shot. Um, Jackson State has the Shanor Brown kid, big first baseman outfield. I think he's hurt right now,
Yep.
but he was freshman of the year last year, and I know he'll be draft eligible next year because of his age. He's somebody who I think is going to get a chance to play professional.
Big
Um,
too.
big kid, like 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah. Need to be
Um,
hooping somewhere.
yeah. Alabama State has a big third baseman slash outfielder in Trenton Jameson. I think he's going to get a shot. Their Friday night pitcher, Breon Pooler, I believe he's going to get a shot as well. And those are just the names that I
Yep.
remember that I didn't really want to face when I was, coaching this last year or
Right.
didn't want to see. So those are the names that stick out the most.
Right. And I've got a chance to watch Breon Pooler. Um, he actually got in a midweek game against Auburn. I think coach was
Okay.
trying to win the game at the end because they were winning.
Yeah.
But he ended up giving up the winning run, but from what I saw, he had some good stuff, and it looks like it possibly can transfer on to the next level. I saw Tremaine Spears a few times, a guy who got a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cam Buford, that's just a tall shortstop, very long and lanky, and obviously got power because he leading the SWAC in home runs too. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of good prospects you mentioned. I do like a kid out of Grambling, last name Mac. Every time I've been to the
Oh,
game in
Keelan
person,
Mack, yeah.
he that guy got some power, man.
Nah, he got some juice too, man. He got some juice too. I
He
just
sent a
think,
few balls to the
when
tennis court.
you think about the next level, man, like he's a first baseman, but he doesn't have the stature, and I don't know if he'll
Right.
have enough power, to stick and stay at first base at the next level.
Okay.
But the way he swings the bat is definitely going to be eye opening, and to be hard for somebody to say, man, there's nothing I can do with that, because you're right. That left-handed power that he has in that bat is extremely special.
Right. Well, I hope for the best for him in the future. But that's one
Mm-hmm.
kid that did stick out to me. Every time I come to the Grambling games in Houston when they play TSU, he always seems to send a ball over there to the tennis court in right field. So
No doubt about it, man.
yeah. So yeah, we'll move on to the next question. With the landscape of college sports changing right now with NIL deals, how do you see this changing with swag baseball? Do you even see it changing with swag baseball?
Yeah, man. The name, image, and likeness deals is, I mean, it done made its shockwaves in college football already. When you look at some of the prospects that have decided to not to go to those PWIs and come to an HBCU.
Hmm.
Um, but it hasn't happened in baseball yet. I think for the right financial situation for that particular family, and then the right setting at that school where that head coach is, and also what that program could do for that student athlete, then I'll start to see, we will see a change in the name, image, and likeness deals making its waves in baseball. When you look at, and I think this goes without saying, what Deion Sanders has done at Jackson State, and getting like the number one football prospect, and number
Yep.
two, depending on
What's up?
um, yeah, what websites you're looking at, to get that kid to turn down all the offers that he had to come to Jackson State. Of course, the name, image, and likeness deal, played a big role in it. But it's it's weird though, man, because in order for that to happen in baseball, man, you're gonna need a group of guys to decide to do that together. You're not gonna just get just one big time prospect to go to that school by himself,
Right.
because those student athletes, they want to
You
play
talk.
with, they talk, they friends, they're at all the circuits together, they're at all the 7-on-7s, all the tournaments, they're at the same hotels.
Hmm.
Um, and they're at all the big time events together. They're at the same camp, so they develop those relationships and friendships by competing with and against one another. And then that's when that conversation start. Hey man, like what if we was on the same team? Then it happens travel ball. Okay, what if we went to the same college? And then that's when you start to see that snowball effect, man.
Right.
So I think um I think that kid at Jackson State could be like a Moses in a sense, where he started to get people to follow
Come on.
him over there.
Yep.
And and when that does happen in baseball, man, you get a group of guys, you get a group of six guys that go to the same school. That's when you start to see a financial change. You start to see a cultural change. You start to see a recruitment change. You start to see all these different changes, man, because when you start talking about the TV deals that these networks have with these conferences and these schools, they go to the place where the players are. So if
Yep.
all the players are in the Mountain West Conference, that's where ESPN is going to want to set up
Right.
shop at. You know what I
As
mean?
we
That's what
as we seen ESPN go to Jackson State spring game. So
not just the spring game, man. How many televised ESPN games did Jackson State have this past year?
most of them, if I ain't
I
mistaken.
I know, and that's the thing. Jackson State had the players. Now, when you look at the conference as a whole, if each team had somewhere close to the same number of prospects that Jackson State has, then the ESPN or whoever it may be. It may be a smaller network. Just decide to, hey man, look, we'll give y'all $600,000. We want to air X number of your
Right.
fall sports, and we want to air X number of your spring sports. And that's how the deals get done, man. But of course, football in our country, of course, is the flagship sport of
That's
our
correct.
nation. So we talk. I totally get it. I totally get it. But
And,
the money's gonna go where the players are.
and you talk about these players. You've coached some of these players, right? Coaching USA
Mm-hmm.
baseball, and
Right.
some guys who are like legit prospects now.
No doubt about it.
Um, let's see. So can you talk about who is like you coached at Grambling a long time, so you got like a
Mm-hmm.
coaching tree right now. Um, Coach Pierre used to coach under you. Coach
Uh-huh.
Jones at Alabama A&M used to coach under you. Like, what advice could you possibly give, like, somebody who's an assistant coach right now who wanted to kind of take your route and be a college head coach?
Man, learn as much as you can to make yourself valuable for that head coach. Of course, the head coach is the CEO of that baseball program, but how can you make his job easier with what you bring to the table, whether it be putting together practice plans for any position on the field, whether it be running a practice while he's not there, whether it be the recruiting aspect of it, whether you're recruiting high school and junior college kids, because there's a big difference between recruiting those two, or where you're recruiting kids out of the transfer portal. That is another um, tool that you need to possess also, because all three of those athletes are different. When you talk
Right.
about recruiting a high school kid versus a junior college kid versus recruiting a kid that's in a transfer portal who's been to probably a Power Five school, and now he's looking for another fit because of how that relationship ended with his previous coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, how can you help place kids in collegiate summer leagues, because that's a skill set in itself. Like those are some of the areas that I would tell coaches to brush up on to help out. Not just the head coaches they're working for, but also the program and also themselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um. So right now you are the Yankees outfield and base running coach. Can you tell us how this role came about? What you had to do to get into this
Mm.
opportunity?
Man, so it's crazy. So a year ago, the year that what year was this, man? The year that COVID hit, we were scheduled to go to, trying to remember, man. We were scheduled to go to New Orleans to play in the Urban Invitational.
Yep.
That's when we had the snowstorm come through North Louisiana, and it canceled. Like nobody went down there and played that year. And so the Yankees called me that week and was like, that weekend, and was like, hey Coop, how's it going? I actually played with one of the guys that work here when I was with the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
He said, man, I'm just calling to check in, man. I know it's been a while since we talked, man. How things going at Grambling, blah blah blah. And really and truly, like I said, man, listen, look, our weekend just got banged. This supposed to be opening weekend for us. It got canceled because of snow. Man, I got two kids at their apartment complex. They don't even have power, so I'm trying to figure out how I can get them food. I don't know how they're gonna eat tonight. And no, it's not safe for them to be out on the road. I don't talk to their parents. I told their parents I'll take care of them. I'm gonna try to get them to my house so I can feed them. Lo and behold, they was trying to see would I be interested in coaching in pro ball. I missed it. I missed it. One need focus on it, man. I was thinking about the games being canceled, trying to figure out like how we gonna practice for next week and how I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
get them kids something to eat. And now, mind you, we missed 9 consecutive days of school and practice.
Right.
And then the following weekend we had to go to freaking Memphis and play, and we got swept because we was just out there resting. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And so that was that. So we get down to we get down to May. I'll never forget it, man. I'm at home. I'm getting ready to start ironing some clothes. The Yankees are on TV and they're playing the Tampa Bay Rays. The announcer comes over the intercom and he was like, Mario Garza will be making his debut coaching first base for the Yankees. Their entire coaching staff has COVID, so they had to outsource coaches from their player development, people that don't coach on the field. They had to put them people in uniform just so they can throw batting practice, hit ground balls, and coach a game because they didn't have enough coaches that was COVID free to coach. Mario Garza is the guy that called me back in February. So I'm like, no shit, Mario Garza is coaching first base. Blew my mind. So I took a picture of the TV and I texted to him. I sent it to him. I was like, hey, Mario, you look good in that uniform. And then way later that night after that game was over, he texted me back. He said, Coop, you're going to look good in pinstripes too. But they had on a gray uniform because they was on the road.
Right.
But he was like, Coop, you're going to look good in pinstripes too. I'm like, man, what is he talking about? He can't be talking about me coming to coach for them. All right. So, you know, that came and passed. So my USA baseball circuit got kicked off, and you know, I'm out in Cary, North Carolina. Kevin Reese, who was Mario boss, he called me and he was like, hey man, I heard a lot of good things about you for Mario. I'll be traveling to Greensboro, North Carolina, to see one of our affiliates play. I know you're a USA baseball, man. I want to come by. Maybe we can sit down in the lobby. Maybe we can have some coffee, have some breakfast. I just want to meet you in person, and I just want to talk to you about some things that we got going on with the Yankees. So I'm like, all right, cool, man. Let me talk to my supervisor with USA Baseball and see if we gonna have some downtime. He's like, all right, cool. Just let me know when you can fit me in. So I'm thinking like, man, are they really finna like come meet me? Like, what we finna talk about? Because when I talked to Mario, like, we ain't talk about no jobs. We ain't talk about none of that.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, Kevin flew in. They was like, man, it'll be cool, man. Just tell him he can meet you whenever, man. Like if you miss anything here, you know, we'll get you, you know, straight on the back end, like at an extra meet or something. So he comes down to the hotel in Cary, North Carolina, man. We sit down and we talk. You know, he breaks out his iPad. He shows me how they do everything. If they call Yankee University, like how they teach their coaches, how they teach their players, how they teach their front office people, you know, the analytics, you know, the base running, the hitting, the defense, all this. And this thing, man, he just kept asking, like, man, where do I see myself like over the next 5 years, or what type of ambitions do I have in life, or what do I want to use, you know, baseball to accomplish, man? You know, we kind of got into it, and you know, we just kind of hit it off, man. And then, you know, we shook hands, you know, and he ended up leaving. And so that was August of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So like in September of 2021, like Mario called me and he was like, man, like you hit a home run with Kevin, man. Like he really liked you. We want to try to get you in for an interview in September. I said, are y'all serious? And he was like, yeah, man. You know, we got some big things in place. We think you would be a great fit for us. And so, you know, they flew me down in September, man. It was really like I was like a 5-star athlete on a recruiting visit. I swear it's what it felt like. I swear what it felt like. And so, you know, I got a chance to see the place, man. So before I even got here, you know, I called Mario like before the flight. I was like, hey, man, so I know we got the interview. He said, I said, I should wear a suit, right? He was like, no, don't wear no suit. Don't wear no suit. I said, you for real? He was like, yeah. I said, man, it's an interview. He said, man, look, do what you feel is best for you, but you don't have to wear a suit. I'm like, all right, cool. So apparently he ended up calling Kevin Reese. And like the day of the flight, Kevin called me. And he's like, hey, man, look, I'm calling to check on you, make sure everything's good, man. You know, anxious to get you down to Tampa so you can see the place. I said, man, look, I'm about to head out to the airport right now. He said, man, I wish you safe travels. He said, man, I talked to Mario. He said, look, man, you don't have to wear a suit. It ain't gonna be that. It ain't gonna be none formal. I said, okay, man, no problem. Hung the phone up. So, you know, I flew into Tampa. Mario picked me up from the airport, and of course, I had a suit on. So, when Mario picked me up, he gave me a big hug. He said, hey, man, you want me a bunch of money? I said, what you talking about? He said, man, we had a bet if you was gonna have a suit on or not. He said, man, I just cleaned up. So you know, I got in the car, man, you know, we came to the facility, bro. You know, they showed me around, and I'm still thinking like it's about to be an interview process eventually, like whether it be today or tomorrow, where I'm sitting down on one side of the table, there's 5 other people on the other side, and they just, shooting those interview questions at me. And it wasn't even nothing like that, man. Like, I
Very.
got there, Mario introduced me to everybody. He took me to the outfield coordinator room and introduced me to that guy. He left out. Me and that guy talked for a good 10 or 15 minutes. He came back and got me. He took me to the infield coordinator room, introduced me to that guy. I sat down and we started talking. He left. He came back another 15 minutes. Did the same thing with the base running guy, same thing with the pitching guy, same thing with the hitting guy, same thing with the strength and conditioning people. Like, it wasn't really like an interview. It was like a meet and greet, 15 minutes privately with each department. And that was kind of crazy, man. So we get ready to go upstairs to like the little war room that they got where all the TVs at, where they watch the draft and that type of stuff. So I'm walking down the hallway, and as I'm walking down the hallway, I'm behind Mario. He's showing me the way. I see Hal Steinbrenner, and I said, damn, that's Hal Steinbrenner right there. So right before I could pass him, he goes in his office. Like he goes right in his office. And so there's some other people up there that Mario introduced me to, man. And so we just sitting down, we talking, we laughing, and then all of a sudden, man, it just got quiet in the room. Like, it was like everybody started sitting up straight. People that was laughing stopped laughing. People that had smiles now had like straight faces on. I turn
Yeah.
I turn around, had Steinbrenner standing behind me. So I shake his hand. I said, James Cooper. He said, Grambling. He said, man, I know who you are. He said, man, my daddy loved Grambling, man. He said, I still remember those days where we went down to Grambling and played right when spring training would end. He would fly the team there. We would play you guys. You guys would use it as a fundraiser. So all the players would sign a bunch of autographs, take pictures. He said, man, he said, Eddie Robinson meant a lot to my dad, just being like an outstanding American, just an outstanding human being, and also what he did for blacks and football and Grambling and just everything. He just kept going on and on and on. He said, I remember when Grambling came up to the old Yankee Stadium and played in the Whitney Young Classic back in the day.
Yep.
And he was like, man, listen, look, if you need anything while you here, feel free to reach out to me. If anybody gives you any problem, man, you give me a call. I'm like, yes, sir, will do. Shook my hand, gave me a hug, and he left.
So for
Hey,
clarification, Grambling baseball used to play the Yankees during the
yep,
springtime.
played him 3 times, man. 88, 89, and 96.
That's dope. That's
And
dope.
and I'm gonna get him back to Grambling too. You watch what I tell you. All right. So after he shake my hand, man, he leave. And like when he get down the hallway, Mario look out the door like to make sure he gone. He said, Coop, man, I've been here 10 years. He ain't never talked to me that long. I said,
It's something about
wow.
it's something
It
about you
is.
and something about Grambling.
Absolutely, man. That's how I know I'm in the right place, man. It really took something like this to get me to leave home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It took something special like this to get me to leave Grambling, a place where I had a chance to get started as a young boy, to mature to a young man, to a rough around the edges baseball player, to a polished baseball player, to a person that didn't know what a graduate assistant was, to becoming a head coach, to having guys get drafted, to having a valedictorian, to having doctors, dentists, CPAs. I mean, you name it, man. We've had a chance to do it, man, and it all played a big part of me going to Grambling.
That's good. So would you in the role right now? Um, who's probably the best player you've had the opportunity of coaching or giving instruction to?
Man, you're gonna get me in trouble. The best the best player I
Or you can maybe
coached.
list them then. List them.
The best player. Um, that's a tough one, man. I think the all around best player I probably ever coached would probably be Marshawn Taylor or Chris Wolf.
Hmm.
They
Speed.
both yeah. Man, Marshawn Taylor hit 400 2 years in a row. And Marshawn Taylor wasn't he didn't have to work hard to be that good. Like that's why he's probably the best guy. Had he worked like a Chris Wolf, ain't no telling how good he probably would have been. Had he worked like a Rafael Ramirez, ain't no telling how good he would have been. Had he just had it, man. He could pick it. He had the hands. He had the arm to stay as short. He had the feet. He had the bat. I mean, he was a small kid, man, but you could be throwing 96, he was gonna turn it. He was gonna turn it around. You could be throwing 86, he was gonna stay back and still be able to hit it up the middle. But he's probably the best. But we done had a bunch of good ones, man. We done had a bunch of good ones.
Yeah.
All the players that we done had drafted. Man, we had some players that didn't get drafted that was extremely good. You know what I mean? So that's a tough spot. I know them guys gonna see this and be like, "Dang, man, you forgot about." Well, I didn't forget about him. I just think, I just think it came so easy to him. He
Right.
didn't have to work as hard as a lot of other guys that had to work hard to be just as good as him, or some guys who thought they was better than him.
Yeah, natural talent.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that being said, like, you know, it's a lot of I guess initiatives going on with to increase the amount of
Mm-hmm.
black players that are playing baseball, particularly in the MLB, and also, you know, in like youth leagues in high school. And I know Major League Baseball have done a significant job of trying to increase the amount of players. Do you see any progression being going on, or do you know of any type of programs that may be
Mm-hmm.
in the community that black baseball players could be a part of?
Yeah, man. They're the best program out there is the MLB Diversity Pipeline program, and I have personally helped, some players that have played for me and some players that didn't play for me get into that program. It was just, guys from our conference. And that is one of the biggest benefits of the Andre Dawson Classic, which is some people kind of remember as the urban youth of the urban
Or
invitation,
invitational?
urban invitational, that started out in LA, that moved to Houston, and of course now it's in New Orleans. Um, but usually on that particular weekend, Tyrone Brooks, who is a phenomenal human being, man, he is a shark in these MLB waters. I mean, he a great white in our game, man, a great white shark, man. He's helped me out. He's helped players that I've recommended out. He's helped, blacks, Hispanics, male and female, get into baseball.
Hmm.
And he does a really good job of, combing through guys' resumes, helping guys improve their resumes, so to speak. So, the right person can see it and look at it and actually not throw it in the trash. So, Tyrone Brooks is a great contact for people to have with the MLB Diversity Pipeline program. And there's so many jobs in baseball, man, where you can be affiliated with the game, where you're not just a player and you're not just a coach. Like, there's a video department, there is a scouting department, there's an advanced scouting department, there's clubhouse, there's ground crew, groundskeeper. There's so many jobs, scoreboard operators, man. There's so many things that can get you in the game where you can use it as an avenue to stay active, with professional sports. And I'm pretty sure they have it in the NBA and in the
Yep.
NFL as well. But I believe you're going to see a change in baseball moving forward with blacks in it in general. And it's not just on the field. That's the low hanging fruit, because that's what people see the most when they turn the TV
Right.
on. They want to see some black players. They want to see some black coaches. And of course, we're at an all-time low,
Yeah.
in some places, with Major League Baseball, man. But hopefully that pipeline can, increase, our numbers in, some of these places.
Right. And that's crazy. I was just talking with somebody about this same topic,
Mm-hmm.
about not just having representation on the field, but in the front office,
Yeah.
being in the video department. I'm sure each
Mm-hmm.
team got multiple lawyers and things of that nature. Um, I know the Texas Rangers had some internship opportunities for black and brown people last year. They was trying to
Yep.
increase diversity. So that's a good thing that these major league teams are trying to, increase the black population in Major League Baseball. So
Mm-hmm.
I got one last question for you. Um, so what's your opinion, or who do you think is gonna win the SWAC championship in baseball?
Man, I
And
think ain't okay, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
and my last question was, and why Southern University?
I saw that. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Well, one, I think Gramblin's gonna win it because we're not gonna be matched up on the same side as Southern, and I think there's gonna be bad news for Southern.
Hmm.
Uh, I
Mhm.
do. I think this is one of those toss-up years, man. You know, when you look at how competitive the West is, and then also the East is not as dominant as it used to be. There's a lot of parity over there. You know, usually, you know, we're accustomed to seeing Alabama State run away with it, or you usually see Jackson State run away with it, and now you see it's extremely tight. And just to reflect back on what happened last year, man, you know, Jackson State went 24-0, and you
Mhm.
know, a lot of people was trying to, you know, place them right on in the regional, but you know, they had a ram in the bush by the name of Southern University who
Yep.
did everything they needed to do to defend their title and repeat, and they did that, man. In order to beat a champ, you got to beat the champ, you know. And Jackson State didn't do that, even though they went 24-0 in the regular season, man. But you know, hats off to Southern, man. They had a chance to defend their title, and they did that. And I know they're gonna try to do the same thing again, man. Those kids are battle tested over there.
Oh yeah.
You know, I also believe it's all about matchups, man. You know, it's about who you draw and who you playing at the right time.
Right.
Um, and you talk about the parity, like you know, Southern has beat Grambling 4 out of 6 this year, man. But Grambling beat Prairie View. Prairie View swept Southern, so it's like it's all about, you know, those matchups, man. And also who's playing well that day. Who's playing well that day, man? With baseball, everything rises and falls on pitching and defense, man.
Yep.
Because if people can't score, they cannot beat you. So if you can put together a handful of innings where you don't give up runs, you can find yourself manufacturing runs because you can't score without getting hits. You know, so you know when you put those things together and you know you play clean baseball where you have really good pitching, you have solid defense, and you have time to hit at the plate, you can go out there and beat anybody.
Facts. Facts. Man, I agree with a lot of that. That West Side been real shaky this year. So yeah, but we'll see the
Yeah.
second half of the season coming up, the tournament coming up. It should be a good one
Hmm.
in the season. So, but yeah, that's all the questions I got. You know, any shout outs you want to give out, give your Instagram out, social media, whatever.
All right. Well, my Instagram is Coach Coop 45. My Twitter is Coach Coop 9. Um, Big shout outs to Grambling State University. You know, that's a place I call home. They play Jackson State tonight. I hadn't got an update on the score. I know it's supposed to rain. They also play at Prairie View this weekend, so that'll be a big time battle between the first and second place seeds as of right now in the Western Division. We did lose to Southern 2 out of 3 this past weekend, and that was a tough series for us. Southern won game 1, we won game 2, and of course Southern won a rubber match. But we'll see y'all in the tournament, Southern. So y'all get ready for us.
Oh yeah, hopefully
Uh,
so.
hey, wouldn't that be a dope championship though? Grambling and Southern in the finals though, man. I think
It
that's what
would.
everybody would want to see. That's what
It
everybody want to
would.
see. It's always Grambling and Southern.
It would. I just
Uh,
wish it was closer to this side of the country though, instead of
I
in
already
Alabama.
know. I know.
But
But
hey,
I
that's
won't be. It's all good. I won't be able to make it, man. But I'll be there in spirit this year, man. And for all the black ball players that are listening, man. It's not about the school you go to. It's about what you do, where you go. So if you go to Grambling State University, Southern University, Jackson State University, if you a baller, they gonna find you, they gonna sign you. So don't think you gotta go to LSU. Don't think you gotta go to Florida State. Don't think you gotta go to University of Texas. You go where you gonna play, man. Go where you're gonna get a chance to play, and more importantly, go where you're gonna get a chance to fail, and the coach is not gonna give up on you and still give you a chance to get back in the lineup, man. You want to go to a place where somebody's gonna pour into you and give you a chance to leave there a polished individual and also a polished baseball player, man. Don't go to a place where a coach is just gonna prostitute you and use you and not help you and not get you ready for life after baseball, man. You know, you come across so many guys that that leave, whether it be any sport, man. Their bodies get banged up, their bodies get bruised up, and they don't leave with a degree. They don't leave with getting drafted, man. And then now they find themselves like like stuck in this conundrum of like, where do I go from here? And
Right.
then they call the coach that they played for, they call that coach that, you know, they helped get that contract extension, and he got a new number. Like, I still got the same phone number, dog. And all my players, they can call
They
me, and
know.
I'm gonna help them out. They know that. They know that. So, man, you know, go somewhere where you're gonna get took care of, man. Don't go nowhere where you're gonna get used, man.
Right. And particularly the Southwestern Athletic Conference. So yeah.
We coming.
When I think about stuff like that, I think about a guy like Trey Morgan in the SWAC conference. You know,
Yeah.
we need some of them type of players. So
Man, if Trey Morgan, I'm gonna throw a bunch of names out there. If Trey Morgan came to the SWAC, he was still gonna get drafted. If Kumar Rocker came to the SWAC, he was still gonna get drafted. If Earl Robinson, who went to Ole Miss, came to the SWAC, he was still gonna get drafted. Man, the list goes on and on. If Ro Coleman came to the SWAC, Corey Ray, all them boys still get drafted.
facts. They just talented. That's all.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I appreciate you coming on with us tonight. You know, good luck with the rest of the season. Good luck with training everybody. And yeah, I wish you a good weather down there in Tampa too, man. I know it likes to rain a lot.
Yeah, man. So actually, bro, it's raining right now as we speak.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's raining right now. You need to come down here though, man. You know, we come down here, we'll do something. I'll take you out.
Yeah, well, I'll be there, so we'll talk. Yeah.
All right,
shout out to Black Baseball Matters. Make sure
absolutely.
Shout out to Southern University.
Coach E, Guru.
Yes, sir. That's his Instagram. Shout out to G. Shout out to J Mac. They not on tonight. They on the beach somewhere relaxing. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share this video with everybody. It's your boy Lil Al checking out. Second and 11 and doing what I do, and don't nobody you do it better. You already know how I do it. This is Swac'N the Fool, and we signing out.